This video will review how to properly label and shoot bug bottles. Bug bottles are an important part of the Bosky water treatment process because they help determine the effectiveness of the water treatment itself and if the bacteria that is commonly found in frac water has been effectively killed and eliminated. The materials that you will need for labeling and shooting bug bottles include a set of bug bottles. This will include 6 APB or acid producing bacteria bottles and 6 SRB or sulfate reducing bacteria bug bottles. You will need the foam container that they are stored in to help ensure that they are kept safe and do not break. You'll need your sample water. For this demonstration, I poured some into the sample tray for the Palin tester. You will need a syringe capable of accurately taking up and releasing 1 milliliter, and you'll need a permanent marker or a pen. The first thing to get started is to collect your sample water. After that, you will use your pen to label 4 different sizes of your bug bottles. The first thing to do is to label on the top an arrow which demonstrates the direction which you are doing the testing. So these bottles down here at the bottom will be the first bug bottles that we will do, and we will go down the line all the way to the very last set of bottles. It is also important to remember that your labeling should be done in pen or some other permanent ink so that it does not easily wipe off. On one side we will have the sample location. This water sample was taken at tank number 2. Right below the arrow, on this short side, we will have the date that the samples were taken. And then on the opposite long side, we will have the operator and the well name. For this example, the operator is the Chesapeake Baker, and the well name is the 2 Burns 5H. It's important to make sure that your handwriting is legible for not only yourself, but others who may be using these bug bottles. The next thing to do, after everything has been labeled, is to make sure that you have ample space for collecting your water into the syringe. For this demonstration, we're using the Palin sample tray, but other small containers may also be suitable for this purpose. When you're getting ready to use a syringe, please make sure that you have the appropriate safeguards in place and that you already have a disposal container for this syringe. You should not ever recap a syringe. You'll see in the package it has a protective cap on it. You should never try and replace a cap because of the potential for sticking yourself with the needle. It is also important to remember you will need 1 syringe for each bug bottle type. So for this demonstration, I'm only going to be doing this front row of bug bottles. The second row would need a separate syringe. These syringes can hold up to 3 milliliters, but for bug bottle testing, we only go up to 1 milliliter. To collect the water, you're going to place the syringe into your sample water and slowly pull up until you reach the 1 milliliter mark. You will need to be sure that your 1 milliliter mark is reached by a full volume of water. You can see that my syringe is also pulling up some air. So even though I have the plunger all the way up to the 3, my water is only up to the 1, which is what we need. The best way to check that you have the appropriate amount is to look at the amount of water at eye level by holding it up to your eye. Now that I have 1 milliliter of water, I'm going to start where my arrow starts. I'm going to plunge the needle into the bottle and then slowly release the water that's in my syringe. It's very important to do this slowly and to not introduce any air bubbles into the bug bottles. If that is the case, then it can invalidate the results. Once you put your 1 milliliter of sample water in, you're going to draw it back up and plunge it back down. This is to help mix the water with the liquid that is in the bottle. You're going to do this 3 or 4 times. And then on your final time, you will take up 1 milliliter and then remove the syringe from the bottle. I'm now going to move to the second bottle, where again I'm plunging down and slowly releasing my 1 milliliter of liquid into the bottle. I'll then have 1 milliliter come back up, and I will continue mixing. When you get to the very last bottle, you actually will leave all of the liquid in the container because you do not have another bottle to transfer to. So it may look like the last bottle in your row will have 1 milliliter of extra liquid than the rest. When you are finished doing all 6 bug bottles, you will then dispose of your syringe in a safe place. You will make sure that everything is properly labeled, and you will continue your testing and get ready for the next set of bug bottles.